series. Today we are focused on audio and visual recording, audio and video recording, and I will be your facilitator today. My name is Tracy Madej Kara-George. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll play our standard disclaimer for today.
This presentation was produced under U.S. Department of Education contract number GS 00F115CA with Synergy Enterprises, Inc. The views expressed herein do not necessarily represent the positions or policies of the U.S. Department of Education. No official endorsement by the U.S. Department of Education of any product, commodity, service, or enterprise mentioned herein is intended or should be inferred.
Okay. Now that we've got that out of the way, I'll introduce myself. My name is Tracy Madej Kara-George. I'll be your facilitator today. I would like to encourage you to introduce yourselves into the chat box. Let us know where you're joining us today, where you're located. I'm actually in temporarily sunny Denver, Colorado, although we're awaiting some snowstorms, so I'll keep you posted about that. Before we begin, I want to just highlight a few options for interacting with me and your peers today during this session. So first, if you haven't already found your way to the chat box, you may have to hover your mouse down over the bottom part of your screen and you'll see a few different buttons there. And if you don't see one titled chat, you might have to hover over the little ... that ellipsis there. It says more. And then if you click on that, you'll have an option to show you the chat box. You're free to type in any questions, comments, ideas that you may have in there as we move through our session today. The other thing I want to highlight too is also in that same panel at the bottom of your screen, and you should see a reaction button. The reaction button gives you a couple of different options like a thumbs up. And if you do that, you will see a thumbs up. If you click on that thumbs up, you'll see it appear on your screen. Whether you're joining us by video or not, it'll still appear there. So that's a way you can interact with us. Tell us if something's good, or you can click on the heart button. Give us a little love if you're feeling that. Okay, that's one option. That's the reaction button at the bottom of your screen. The third option for interacting with us today is actually found in the participant panel. So again, in that bottom part of your screen, if you hover over it, you'll see a little emblem that looks like two people. That is your participant panel, and if you click on that, that'll bring up a list of everybody that's joining us today and their names. And if you look way down at the bottom of that panel, you'll see a yes, a no, and some other options there. So if you find that participant panel and you can give us a yes. I might ask some questions along the way about tools you're using, or you can give us a no if your response is no when we ask questions for you during our today's session. So you have those three different ways to interact with us: the chat box and those two different reaction buttons, one of them in the participant panel. Feel free to use those liberally as we go through today. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with today's material. So here are two objectives for today. We'll have a brief survey for you at the end of today. We'll ask you how well we met our objectives. We want to explore features and uses of various audio and video recording tools. And then we want to identify and share some ways to incorporate audio and video recording into your program today. So I'd love for you to type into the chat box and let us know. Have you used any audio or video recording tools in your program? We'll get the sharing started off right away within that chat box. If you're not using any audio or video recording tools, or you're unsure if you're using any in your program, no worries. That's great. You're here to see some free user-friendly tools, so no worries if you're not currently using tools. We just want to be able to use this time to share some what's working for you and some of the cool work that we know is happening out there. Thank you. I see somebody there who's using Blackboard. Awesome. Very good. Okay. All right. Well, here are the tools that we're actually going to highlight today, and Sarah's going to put up for me on the screen now a brief poll, and you can click all that apply. I'm just curious to know before we go through the demonstration right now, are you using any of these tools? Have you used any of these tools? I see we got one person responding there. That's good. If you're not using these tools, if you don't see the tools you're using in this poll, maybe just continue to type into the chat box and let us know what kinds of tools you are using. I'm seeing the results live here. As soon as we get a few more responses here, looks like we got 4 of you folks responding. But so far, a lot of you are using Zoom. That makes a lot of sense. We're all spending a lot of time on Zoom these days. And some of you are using these other tools, Screencast-O-Matic and Emoto. That's awesome. I really want to hear from you today about how you're using these different tools so we can share those examples and experiences. Looks like we got about half the folks on here. I think we'll go ahead and close that now, but if you're using other tools, feel free to continue to type into the chat box. So we've got somebody here who's using Screencastify and a couple using Screencast-O-Matic. That's cool. And Animoto too, and Zoom. Yes, lots of Zoom users. Very good. Okay. So I'm going to set that aside. Thank you for sharing and thank you for participating. So I'm going to go over some features and tell you a little bit about what you can expect to see in the demonstrations here. So let's talk through some specific features of each of these tools. Okay, so first, Vocaroo, Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, and Zoom are the recording tools that we'll highlight today. Vocaroo is an audio-only recording tool. You can record audio, and there's no limit to the length of how long your recordings can be. These audio recordings, you'll see it's a really super user-friendly tool, and it makes it really easy to use very quickly on some social media sites if you just want to record an audio message. Screencastify gives you a 5-minute limit. It records both audio and video. And this is really a useful tool if you're doing shorter demonstrations about like how to work a tool or how to navigate a website, say, or maybe how to register for services or something. Screencast-O-Matic gives you a little bit longer time. It gives you a 15-minute limit. And this is useful if you're going to record maybe some mini lessons or something that might take a little bit longer to explain. It records both audio and video. And then Zoom, these are all based on the free versions, okay? So in the free version of Zoom, and some of you may actually have company accounts or paid versions. But in the free version, you get 40 minutes of free meeting time, and that's how long you can make your recordings for too. So that's really useful if you want to record longer lessons or present content in a longer type of format. So I mentioned Vocaroo's an audio-only tool. Screencastify records audio and video, and you have the option of downloading either an audio-only file or a video and audio file. Same for Zoom. You can download them separately or together. And then Screencast-O-Matic really gives you just the video files with narration. In some of these, Vocaroo, you're recording your voice, so you're not going to be, as a presenter, you're not going to be on screen like I am here with you right now in Zoom. But each of these other options, each of these other tools, you get the option of having your video visible on your recording or not. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that. Some unique features. Each one has something a little bit unique to it. Vocaroo is very bare bones, very user-friendly, you'll see. Screencastify, you do get some options to annotate on screen. Like I'm using my spotlighter right now in Zoom. You can annotate on screen. Screencast-O-Matic, you also get some cursor highlighting, so that makes it nice if you want to show specifically something on a website or how to go about something. And then Zoom, of course, you get lots of annotation options to draw or type text on the screen and that sort of thing. Some of these tools allow some pretty basic editing. Vocaroo, you really don't have any editing features, and neither do you get any editing features in Zoom. You would have to take your file, download it, and then edit it in a different program. Both Screencastify and Screencast-O-Matic give you the ability to trim the ends of your recording. So if you're making, say you're making a demonstration video about how to do something online, and you have a little extra time at the end where you're trying to click off and leave the meeting or stop the recording, you can, once you stop your recording, you can actually trim a little bit. You can trim that off. And same thing at the beginning. If you're kind of getting situated and then get started, you can trim those ends. And I'll show you how to do that too. Now I mentioned I'm going to demonstrate the free versions of each of these tools. The trade-off for a free version in Screencastify and Screencast-O-Matic is that they put a little watermark on your video, and you'll get to see what that looks like. It's not super obtrusive, but it is on your video in the free versions. In Zoom, they don't put a watermark on your video, and then of course Vocaroo is audio only, so no watermark there. Vocaroo operates totally online. Screencastify requires a download extension, and I'll highlight this again in the demonstration, but very important, it's a Chrome extension. So you need to be using Chrome as your browser to use that. If you're used to using Safari or some of the other browsers, Screencastify is not going to play nice with that. Screencast-O-Matic is online, but you'll see that there is a download portion of it too that launches from your computer. And then in Zoom, many of you know, you can log in online, or you can download that application right to your desktop and launch it from there. So there's a summary. Do we have any questions so far?
There's no questions in the chat right now.
No questions yet.
Okay. All right. So feel free though, if you know, we're not a really large group today. If you have any questions along the way as I'm going through these demonstrations, we can pause and try to answer your questions. And also I really want to hear, you know, your ideas about how you're currently using these, since some of you have been using these tools and other tools. How are you using recordings in your program? So let's look first at Vocaroo. This is a super simple, super easy to use audio recorder. Okay, no account or login is needed. Remember, we don't get any editing options for this, and our recordings are stored online. Now, I'll come back to this. They're stored online, and you can download them. But if you choose to keep it online, it's not there forever. It really depends on how busy they are, how much space is taken up in their servers. So that's just something to bear in mind. All right. So to record in Vocaroo, you really just have this big red button that you press to begin your recording. So I'm going to click it, and I'm going to allow it. I'm not sure why I want to stop there. So now I get a blinking red button that tells me that I'm recording, and I can see here the timer is giving me the length of my recording as well. And I've got a few different prompts down here to help me use it. But if I want to pause my recording, I can pause and I can restart it. That's a nice option, you know, if you're recording something and you need to take a sip of water, or, you know, somebody's hollering for you in the background and you need to stop the recording and restart, you can do that in Vocaroo. So I'm going to stop it now. And now I have a few different options. I can preview my recording by pressing this play button. Allow, I'm not sure why I wanted to stop there. So now, there we go. So it recorded everything I just said to you. If I decide that I don't like that recording, I'm going to click this little loop, red arrow loop button, and it's going to start immediately recording. So it's going to get rid of this one and it's going to immediately start. So, but bear in mind, it starts right away. I'll just show you real quickly how to demonstrate. See, it's already started recording. It didn't give me any kind of a countdown or warning. It's going to start it right away. So let's say I'm happy with this now. I'm going to go ahead and I want to share it. And this, now you see these few different options that I have here. You may want to just download it right to your computer. If I click that, you see down here now I've got an MP3 file and I can open that, save it to a file, or, you know, drop it into an email if I want. I can also, it gives me a link, which I can copy right here. So I can copy the link and I can drop that in, again, into an email or a document if I want. I can click any of these buttons to share it right away out on social media or even my email right here. This is kind of a cool option that several of our tools have today, but I can actually generate a QR code. So I've heard from a few of you that are experimenting with these QR codes and putting them on flyers or handouts. And you can actually, you know, just scan these with your computer, with your telephone camera, right? And it'll play your recording. So if this is on a flyer, you can scan this and hear that recording, and I could save that if I wanted to. Bear in mind though, I mentioned the recording link. So if you copy the link and share it, if you use a QR code, if you share it out on social media, you're sharing that online recording. So you might want to think about the time, excuse me, what's the phrase I'm trying to think of, the time frame that you're going to use that you're going to share that out. It might be, you might want to consider that it's more time bound, because after 90 days that link may no longer be active. It might be less than 90 days if they're really busy and have a lot of space on there being used up on their servers. And of course, you can always download and save that file as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete the file I just made because I don't want to take up any extra room. There we go. But that is Vocaroo. I think possibly the world's easiest audio recording tool. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take us right into Screencastify now. And I know that some of you are actually using this already. So again, feel free to share any tips, okay, or share any ideas for how you've been using this tool in your program. So remember, Screencastify, we get 5 minutes in our free recording time in the free version. This is the landing page, screencastify.com. And you'll notice over here up in the upper right hand, it says already installed. Remember, this is the one that uses the Chrome extension, right? So I've already installed it. And if you look right above here in the far upper right, you actually see the Screencastify button now. So whenever I want to record something, I'm just going to click that button and it opens up this little tool panel. So with Screencastify, I can share a browser tab. So if I want to share just what's on one website in one tab, I can tell the computer I want to share just that, or tell Screencastify that's what I want to share. I can share my desktop, which is what I'm doing now. And this definitely could be, sharing your desktop has a lot of useful purposes, but just keep in mind, and you might hear me repeat this a couple of times today, but anything that you do on your desktop is going to be shared on screen. So if you have any calendar alerts or instant messaging programs running in the background, you might, that will show up on your recording. So just be aware of that when you choose desktop. You also have the option of just choosing the webcam, okay? if you want to record, if you're just recording a presentation and just sharing, a story or something, and you don't have anything on the screen to show, you can record just the webcam. I'm going to share the desktop, and you see I can record, excuse me, I can toggle on my microphone so that I can record my voice. And the options are the same for browser desktop. I can also turn my webcam on and off from here if I choose to share that in my recording or not. I have to make that decision at the beginning of my recording when I use Screencastify. So then I made my choices. I'm going to click record. And I know it shows up on my other screen here, so you can't use it, but it's asking me right now because I said I want to share my desktop. It's asking me which screen I want to share, and I'm just going to move that around. Sorry. Apologies for that. One second, folks. Not sure where that went. Huh. Okay. Maybe it's just not showing me because I have too many things open. Let me just pull that up again. Okay. So I chose desktop, embed my webcam. Now I clicked record. And it should be recording. And I should see a tool panel. And on that panel, I would have a couple of different options where I could turn on and toggle on and off some annotations. I'm going to try one quick thing here. Okay. Okay. Sorry, folks. It's slight technical challenge here. I appreciate your patience while I try to figure out why it won't show us. If I do that too. Okay. This was not supposed to be my problem child today. Because now it won't bring it up at all. Let me do this. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not even why it won't show up. It's not hiding anywhere. Oh. No, that's my Zoom. All right, well, let me just highlight a few things for you. Okay, maybe this time. No, sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to come back to this one so that we don't get held up. But Screencastify, you click your record button, you make your choices here, and it'll bring up a little tool panel where you can choose to annotate and turn on the cursor highlighter so you can highlight your cursor if you want to really emphasize something on your screen and where you're clicking with your cursor. And then when you stop recording, you get a few options for sharing. You can download the recording to your local computer as well. Screencastify does give you the option again of trimming the ends if you need to make some of those adjustments. Okay. This is Screencast-O-Matic. Sorry about that. We'll try that again in a minute here. Screencast-O-Matic is another free tool that you can use to make audio and video recordings. You get 15 minutes in Screencast-O-Matic in the free version. There is a download component of this. This is this landing page here, screencastomatic.com. Okay. And from here, you can see that I'm already logged into my free account. So I'm going to go ahead and click my videos up here in the upper right so you can see what the workspace looks like in Screencast-O-Matic. So this is the workspace where you can save your recordings if you want to. And here's one that I had made earlier. Up in the upper right-hand corner here again, you have a couple of different options. You can capture just a screenshot, just take a picture of what's on your screen if you want. If you want to launch the recorder and begin recording, you click this little video emblem, video camcorder emblem right here. And then it's going to launch the recording. And so now on my screen, you see this black and white panel, right? And you get a big notice up here that the Screencast-O-Matic is going to record anything that happens within this frame. Right over here, it opens up immediately my tool panel where I can make some selections. It's connected to that little blue gear button that you see down here. So I can always turn that on and off if I want to make some different selections. But it's very similarly to Screencastify. I can share my screen, which is just what's happening within that black and white frame. I can share my webcam, and I already knew that Screencast-O-Matic wasn't going to play nice with my webcam today. So I know you can see me in Zoom, but this big gray area that you see on my screen right now should be my video recorder. So you can be just by yourself and big on the screen and record that, or you can make yourself little. Okay, and record both what's on the screen and have a little video of yourself embedded on the recording as well. And I'm just grabbing this with my mouse right now. I can move it around and put it somewhere where I see fit, where it's not going to interfere with what's on screen. These little options, these little buttons right down here allow you to make yourself bigger and smaller as you're recording, which might be a nice feature if you want to change that up in the middle of your recording. Over here on my panel now, I've decided I'm going to record both. It records my narration, but in the free version of Screencast-O-Matic, you actually don't get the option to share your computer audio. So if I have to upgrade to the paid version of Screencast-O-Matic if I wanted to play, say, some music from my computer, or if I wanted to play a video from my computer. That would be an upgrade. And we'll bump up against that again a little later, you'll see. But once you've made your selections and you're ready to record, let's see, you can see my Screencast-O-Matic frame. I'm just going to make this smaller so you can see that in its entirety. Get rid of that. Okay. And when I'm ready to record, I'm just going to click this big red record button. And what's nice about here in Screencast-O-Matic is you saw that 3, 2, 1 countdown. You get a little bit of a warning before it actually starts to make the recording. And you'll notice that my frame has turned from black and white to red and white. So it's giving me now an indication that it is recording. Okay, and it's going to record everything anything that happens within that frame. My little video panel over here is which would normally have me in there is also recording. When I'm ready to pause, I can pause by clicking that blue button now. Now, if I wanted to start again, I could simply click that red button, or it'll continue right where we left off. I can click this little arrow to preview what I've recorded. I'll do that now. Actually, let me do one thing. Here we go. All right, so I can play that. Out here in Screencast-O-Matic is you saw that 3, 2, 1 countdown. Okay, so you heard a little bit of my recording that I just made there. Let me see if I can scroll ahead. I just want to highlight one thing, and you'll notice that my frame has turned. Are you seeing my cursor as it moves around? It has that yellow round circle around it. That's another nice feature, again, if you want to highlight what you're clicking on screen in Screencast-O-Matic. So if I'm happy with that recording now, I've paused my recording. This does allow me to go back and start recording at where I left off if I want to. I can listen to the playback. If I decide I didn't like it, I could click this little trash bin symbol, right? Delete it and start right over again. It'll give me that 3, 2, 1 countdown. But if I'm happy with it, if I think this recording is fine, I can go ahead and click done. And I have a couple of different options now. If I want to save it quickly, this option will give me a link, which I can share out. I can save it to my computer if I want, or I can edit it. And actually, save and edit takes me to the same place. So I'm going to go ahead, move this out of your way for a minute here. You see that when I click edit, it asks, do I want to upgrade? No, actually, I don't. But it does give me this little work panel now, and I can see my recording. I can play it again if I want to listen to it. If I want to do some of that basic editing that I mentioned, like, I'm going to trim off the ends a little bit. I'm just going to grab the end of it with my cursor and move it to where I want it. Okay. When I'm ready to share it, I have these different options here. I can save it to my local computer. I can save it to that Screencast-O-Matic workspace that I had up on my screen a minute ago. I can also save it directly to YouTube or my Google Drive. But I'm going to download it here so that you can see what that looks like. And I'll just bring this over here in the meantime. So you see, I said I want to save it to my local computer, and this is what it brought up. Don't be frightened off by that big green publish button. It's not going to publish it on the interwebs for everyone to see. It actually just means that it's going to render or prepare that video so that I can download it, save it to my computer, and then use it in a way that I desire. So now it's done. I say okay. And Screencastify, this will actually shows up in my download. So let me just, I can show you the view here. Let me just bring this up, details. So now we see this is where my my video recordings come, and I can grab that recording right from here. It saved it to my downloads file. I can open that up and use it right from there. Make this bigger again. I'm going to pause for any questions about Screencast-O-Matic.
There doesn't seem to be any questions right now in the chat, Tracy.
Okay. Any sharing or any thoughts or ideas about I'd love to hear from those of you who are using these tools, how you've used them in your program. Are you using them with staff? Are you using them in your programming aspects? Maybe you're using them with students.
Nothing in the chat, but I was putting in a few when we were having a technical difficulty situation about the use for native language programs and working with practitioners.
Great. I've got a few more things to show you, but one of the things I'm definitely going to show you during today's session is a tool that we're using to share and gather your questions and suggestions about distance learning technical assistance. So definitely stay on for that, because if we are not sharing today in the chat box, we also have a Padlet, a tool called Padlet that I'll highlight here in a little bit, and we can always revisit that after today too. That'll remain open for you. Okay, I want to try Screencastify and see if it'll play nice with us one more time. Which it doesn't seem to want to today. I apologize. Maybe I used it too much today and it just, okay. I'm going to try to record the desktop. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to show this. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so I think you probably heard that little beep, 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 beep. That is a countdown in Screencastify for recording, and I actually have this little button right here that's showing that it is recording now. This will actually show up on your recording while you're recording. Okay, that just appeared on my other computer screen. What I was hoping to highlight, what I'm able to show for you now, is this toolbox down here in the lower right for Screencastify. So here I have the option to pause my recording and start it back up again. This little pointer arrow, I can toggle on or off this circle. Okay, so again, if I want to highlight something where I'm clicking on the screen, I can toggle that on and off. I can use this little pen button to actually annotate. All right, so I can choose a color of what I want to show. And if I want to highlight something that we're using Screencastify and I'm highlighting our little tool panel down here, I can annotate on screen. When I'm ready for those to go away, I'm just going to click on this little eraser button and clear my screen there and there. And I do have the option, this little video camera gives you the option of like making your video panel appear on or off the screen, which it doesn't want to seem to show today. So those are some different options for tools that you have to use in Screencastify. When I'm done recording, okay, I'm going to stop share. It takes just a second, but now it takes me to this work panel where my recording actually appears and it starts to play. I just click pause down here at the bottom. Okay, so you can see it's kind of moving along this 2-minute recording here, moving things around. And if you look over up here in the upper right, you see that it's immediately saving right away to my Google Drive. So that's where Screencastify is going to put all your recordings, and you can go right to your Google Drive and you can access your recordings there. You can copy a shareable link, all right? And you have a couple of different options there for who you want to be able to see that video. Some sharing options, you can, if you're using Google Classrooms, you can share right to there. You can publish on YouTube or get your code to put it embedded in a website if you want to make a recording and put it on a website. Send it directly in your Gmail, and you also get the QR code option here as well. You may choose to download. If you want to download, remember I said you get the option here. You can download an MP4 file as with the video and audio, or you can download just the audio file as well. Okay. Before I download that though, I do want to show you the editing tool for Screencastify works very similar to the one that we just saw in Screencast-O-Matic, except here it's little scissors. So I'm just going to grab those scissors and move this right to where I want them to start and end. If that's how I would like it, I'm just going to save that trim. Yes, are you sure? Right, because those ends are permanently deleted then. Yep, I'm sure. It's going to take just a minute to save that, and then I'll show you how you can download that. Okay, I'm just going to click right here. And then down over here, pause that. Down over here, you see now I have my file ready. I can open that up, save it right to my computer, and use that as I see fit. All right. Thank you, Screencastify, for playing nice with us today. Sorry for the little hiccup there. I'm going to go ahead now and put my slide back up because now I want to show you how you can do audio and video recording in Zoom. And you'll hear this in the recording, but I did want to point out an important distinction here. So we're in a Zoom meeting right now, and so in order to show you how to do some things in Zoom, I actually had to use one of our tools to make a recording, and I use Screencast-O-Matic. So right here, down here, you can see on the screen, and you'll see in the recording the watermark that I was talking about earlier, the Screencast-O-Matic watermark that you get in the free version. You'll also see this annotation tool, the yellow spotlight where my cursor is. That's also a feature in Screencast-O-Matic. In the demonstration, you'll see that I want to show you how to share your sound in Zoom. Within Zoom, if I wanted to play a video or if I want to play some music, I can do that, and it will record my computer audio in the recording. But remember, Screencast-O-Matic doesn't allow that unless you pay for the upgrade. Okay, so that was where I said we're going to bump up against this again. You'll see in this recording how that plays out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play our demonstration of how to make an audio and video recording in Zoom. Okay, so here I am using Screencast-O-Matic to record this demonstration of using Zoom. So in Zoom, you can actually go online and use it in an online setting, or you can download the application like I did over here on my desktop, and you can launch Zoom right from your desktop and use it that way. Remember, in the free version of Zoom, you get 40 minutes, 40, of free meeting time, and so that is also the same length of the recordings that you're allowed to make, which is actually pretty long and useful if you're making longer presentations or recording longer lessons. So if you're used to logging into Zoom as a presenter, or excuse me, as an attendee, some of these buttons might be new. But when you're logged in as a host or presenter, these are some of the buttons that will appear. And the one that I want to draw your attention to is right here is this record button. When you want to record in Zoom, it really is just as simple as clicking that button to begin your recording. Now I have in my settings I have Zoom set up to record either to the computer, my local computer here, or to the cloud. So it's asking me which one I want to record to. Probably recording to your computer is going to be what you use most often, so I'm going to choose that option. And I am now recording. So you see now my record button has split into two, where I can pause and stop my recording from here. In the upper left-hand corner, you see this blinking red button that also tells me I'm recording. If I had told it to record to the cloud, this little round button would be the shape of a cloud. But I can pause and stop my Zoom recording from there as well. Now, currently, I am only recording my voice in Zoom. I'm not sharing anything on my screen. I'm not sharing any sound or video clips or anything like that. But these are all things that you can do. So let's say I want to actually show something on the screen so that I can show and tell my audience about my work. So I clicked Share Screen, and this option box pops up here where I have all these different options. Now my home computer setup has two computers, or excuse me, two screens. So I can choose to share my laptop screen or my monitor screen. You may want to share your screen, and that works great for in a lot of situations, but just keep in mind that anything that happens on your screen will get recorded and captured in that recording. So if you have any calendar alerts or instant messages, applications operating in the background, that will also get captured in your recording. So a lot of times I just choose to share a specific application. You can see I have different ones operating in the background right now. I have a PowerPoint, I have my Chrome browser up, so Teams. I want to share what's on my internet browser with you in Zoom. Now, part of my presentation is going to be to share a video clip or maybe share some music. So when I choose which application I want to share, I'm also going to click these little buttons down here on the lower left hand. If I want to share sound, Zoom does allow you to play something on your computer and have it be recorded. Okay, you may also want to click this button, optimize for a video clip if you're going to show a video. And since I'm going to click that as well. Okay, now we should see in the recording here now, if I was just in Zoom, you should be able to see a green frame that would be all around the outline of my internet tab now showing, and that's how I know what is being recorded in Zoom. Now, I said you can record your computer audio in Zoom, and you can do that, and I would just click this little button to play my video. But because, remember, I made this recording in the Screencast-O-Matic, that's actually an upgrade, a paid feature in Screencast-O-Matic. Screencast-O-Matic is allowing me right now to record my narration, my voice. But if I wanted to record my computer sound in Screencast-O-Matic, that would be an upgrade. But I can do that, and I just showed you how to do that in Zoom. Important distinction there. Okay, so now let's say I want to actually appear on the screen. I want to record myself as a narrator, as a presenter on the screen. So currently you see down here in my control panel, I don't have my video enabled. If I want to appear on screen, I'm going to start my video, but you don't yet see it on the screen. And if that happens, you're going to go back over here to the ellipsis under where it says More, and you're going to look for this little line that says Show Video Panel. When I click on that, ta-da, I appear in my little video panel on the screen. And now Zoom is both recording my internet browser as well as this little video panel of myself. Now I can minimize and enlarge that right here. If you want it to go away completely, you can move it outside your green frame and put it somewhere else on your desktop. Or you can go back to the ellipse and tell it to hide that video panel now. Okay. Another cool option that I want to highlight here is that I'm going to click on this Annotate button right here. So now you can see this annotation panel appeared up at the top, and I'm just going to drag it over here so you can see it a little better. These are some cool tools if you want to create a little more visual interest in your recording. You can use these different tools to spotlight content, to actually draw on your screen. If you wanted to type some text, you could do that there as well. Zoom will record those annotations on the screen. If you want to draw your attention to anything specific on your screen, that's a cool way to do it. When you're done with that, you're just going to hover over here in this little trash bin icon, and you can clear all your drawings, and that'll clear off the screen so that it is now clean and you are just sharing what is on the internet. All right, I'm going to put that away. So now, when you're done recording in Zoom, excuse me, you're just going to go ahead and click stop. Well, I'm going to stop my share. All right, and now I'm going to click stop record. So I have stopped recording. I'm going to take myself off the big screen as well. There we go. And remember I told Zoom that I was recording locally, right? And when it's all done, I've stopped my recording. And when I end my Zoom meeting, I'm going to click this button here, end meeting. Let me move this over here. This little dialog box will appear. I'm going to set that aside as well. And this tells me that Zoom is now taking my recording and converting it before it saves to my computer. So while that's working, I'll just remind you that when you look at your Zoom recording, it'll be free of any watermarks. Even in the free version of Zoom, it doesn't put a watermark on your recordings. You have the option of recording to your local computer, which is what you see happening right now. If I were to save my recording to the cloud, which is an option, I would get an email notice when that recording was ready. So I'll show you an example of that while we're waiting for that to render. But this is just an example of a recording I made before. It's just letting me know that that is available now and I can go online and go grab it. It gives me links that I can share out, and I have it set up with a passcode there, as you can see, for people to access. So once that gets converted, it'll ask you where you want to save your recording. And so I usually have a space on my desktop where I like to put these things. So let me just show you here. There we go. Here are some recordings that I recorded earlier. So this is my full Zoom recording where it records my video and my audio and everything that I shared on screen. I also here you see an audio only version. So I can set up Zoom to give me just audio recordings if that's an option I want to use. Okay. So that is how you make a recording in Zoom. I hope you have enjoyed this demonstration. Oops, there we go. Very good. Any questions about recording in Zoom? I know a lot of you had said earlier that you're actually using Zoom to record. Oops. And I'm noticing in the chat box here, we've got a little bit of sharing happening there. Some folks saying they're looking forward to using some tools or maybe even have some things to share already. That is really cool. All right, so this is a really amazing tool, and I think a couple of you said that you've used Animoto in your programs for some different things. I'd love to hear how you're using this tool. I'm going to share, before I tell you too much about it, I'm actually going to share this video that we created a little bit ago for you, and this was created in the tool Animoto. Okay, so this was just an example that I created today, just a fictional example of some programs or services. But I would love for you to be thinking about, as I demonstrate this tool, how you might be able to use this in your programming as well. So it's a pretty cool tool. It creates these animated, as you saw, videos. Now that we've taken a look at how to make some audio and video recordings, this one might help us even kick that up a notch, even a little bit more. It's, I think, pretty user friendly, and I think it could make even the most tech basic among us look very tech savvy. So I'm going to go ahead and move back now to my screen and take you to animoto.com, where we can take a look at how to do something similar with this tool. So here we are. We're just at the Animoto on the Animoto page. Okay, this is a free site that I'm using right now, just the free version. You can see that I'm already logged into my account here, and this is my workspace. I've made a few practice videos. You see the one that we just watched. But when I want it ready to create, I'm going to go ahead and click this create button right here at the top. Turn my annotation back on. I think that's helpful. So here you get a number of pre-made templates to start from. So you see this button over here. You can actually start from scratch, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But I actually find it really helpful to start with a pre-made template, and they make some recommendations for you, so I can take a look at some of those. They also have different categories if you want to look at a particular type, something for a holiday, or maybe you want to send out a little motivational video to your students or your staff, to stay strong and keep in touch, that sort of thing. But some of the other templates down here, that you see, you might, there's a self-introduction video. Maybe you have some new staff or some new teachers, and you would just want to, introduce them in a fun way to your community, your parents, or your students. This one's an event recap. Maybe if you were had an event and had some photos and a little video and some video pieces that you wanted to highlight, to share, maybe at a presentation to the tribal council or a school board, that might be an option to start with there. I'm going to go ahead and choose a weekly newsletter to demonstrate how to edit and create one of these videos. So when I choose a template, it takes me right to this sort of overview page, and I can preview it. I can see what it looks like and how it operates. It gives me a little bit of information here, some highlights about it and how it might be used. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click choose template because I already know I want to use this one. So now if you have already some ready to go video clips or songs or still photographs that you want to use, you can very easily drag and drop those from your computer file, from one of your folders on your computer, and drop it right here. If you don't have any, or you want to do them later, you can do that too. So I'm just going to skip that for now because we're going to come back and look at that. We're going to add those videos, or excuse me, we're going to add those photos and videos later. So here's your workspace now. Now you have the template, and this is your workspace. And the big area up here is the panel that you are currently editing. Down here on the bottom, you see each of the little panels. So this one is comprised of 7 little panels. You'll notice the little timestamp on each of them here. So this first one is 5 seconds. The second one is 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and so on and so forth, right? And this last one is 3 seconds. You'll notice that this right above the play video button, I get a running tally of how long my video is from beginning to end. So even if I add or subtract some of these blocks, I'll always know how long it is by looking right there. So First, adding and subtracting. All right, so as I hover over each of these blocks down here in the lower panel, you'll see I have the same options appear. I can duplicate a block or I can delete a block. Okay, so just a heads up here, I'm going to demonstrate this, but I'm hoping maybe you'll have some ideas to help me as we create this example too. So we have this bulletin here. And we have, this one starts off with 5 things to know this week, but let's say I only actually have 4 things. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this last block right there. And now I have 4 panels to work with, and you'll notice that the length of my video changed accordingly. So our bulletin is not this high school bulletin, but I think it's actually the awesome Indigenous program bulletin. So you see, I just clicked right in there and I can type. I have here a little tool panel that gives me some different options. So I can, if I want to choose the size of my title, I can make it bigger. I'll make that really big. I can change my text color here if I want to. I can change the accent color. So you see the little orange piece over there on the right. If I click, oops, nope, that's text color. Now there we go. Accent color, we can change that as we want to. Legibility kind of changes the background of that little text box. Okay, so you can just kind of make that more or less legible, more easy to see and read. And I can do the same thing down here now with this subtitle as well. We decided there's 4 things you need to know this week about our awesome Indigenous program bulletin. And I just want to make that green maybe. Okay. So let's say now, right now, currently you see that this first slide plays for 5 seconds. Okay, and if I could play this one if I wanted to, I could see how that text is going to appear. I can observe what the video is in the background. If I maybe I want this to be a little bit shorter though. Maybe I think that's a little bit too long. So let me just do that again. I clicked on the scissors button where I can trim this, and I can actually be really precise. I can make it, you know, like 7 seconds long. I can make it 3 seconds long, and you know, in between there. So I'm going to let this play for just 3 seconds and apply that. So now here's where I need your help. What are the awesome Indigenous program elements we're going to highlight today? Today is Tuesday, but it's not September. It's actually March, right? March 9th. Any ideas? Food sovereignty. Okay. We're going to have some learn about food sovereignty. Oops. OVER. You're getting a real live look at my spelling abilities here, folks. Okay. So that's going to happen later today. I can customize that text in there, but now this picture doesn't really fit. So I need to put in some different imagery in here. Over here on the far right, you see we've got a few different options in our media library. Now, I think when this first came out, Animoto gave a lot of options for free imagery. There doesn't seem to be quite as many now, but you do get some options here. So I can search in here if I were just to type up, let's say corn. I feel like that's maybe more common than wild rice or something like that. But you can search, and it'll bring up lots of different options here for you. But you'll notice the little golden stars. That's an indication that those are for the paid version. All right. So again, if you want to use this tool, that's certainly an option, and you can include that. But these are all free, or these are not free, and that's what I want is free. So I'm going to go back to my free options, The way to add it, just to demonstrate, is when you see the one that you like, you're just going to hover your mouse, grab it, and then you can drag it right into place. And boom, your picture appears. Now, remember at the beginning too, it said when I first chose this template, it gave me the option where I could drag and drop some pictures if I wanted to add those pictures. I can still do that. Instead of in the stock library here, I'm going to move over here this gives me the option underneath the My Project tab to drag and drop some videos. Maybe you made some videos in one of the tools that we demonstrated earlier, or maybe you've got some still photos from a program. I'm going to go ahead and just navigate to one of my folders here and show you how easy it is. I can just grab this picture, drag it right over, and that becomes available for use now. So like say maybe Wednesday, I'm going to add a still picture and replace the video. But Wednesday is about birch bark basketry. Okay. Oops, and we're not in September, we're in March. And tomorrow's the 10th. Okay. Any other ideas? What other ideas do we have for programming? What should we highlight? Maybe one more idea. Oh, let's see. Any ideas? Maybe we have a book club at 2 p.m. I think you get the idea though with how to customize the text and the images here. Okay. Very good. Let's see. So we've done the text, we've done the images. Now I want to actually highlight a couple other things. Up here at the top, now we can choose some different design treatments for our video. So remember, this was a template, and it kind of has a preset options for how the text appears, but we can switch that up. We can give it a different kind of look. We can choose one of these options and it'll apply it right away. You see how that changed? It made the images gray, and now it has a different treatment for that text. Maybe we like spring blossom better. Or clean cut. We'll go with clean cut. Now, I'm just going to pause that so it's not distracting. But even within those treatments, you still get some other options here. So I have a few different free text options. I can choose a different font for my video. I can choose to make my title text larger or smaller with the little scroll tool here, and as well as give it a different color or accent. I can change the subtitle size. I can do the same thing. I can make that smaller, and I can change the colors of those as well. These squares, these little options down here, if I hover over them, you can kind of see how each of these text, how they appear different. Listen, lift kind of comes up from the bottom. That might be a little distracting. This one kind of scrolls out from the side. This one has a little bar and then it slides in. You can choose any of those treatments, those animations, and apply those to your video. All right, I'm going to close that. Those are your design settings. The other thing that you can customize too is music. So when I played the video, you could hear, let me just play it real quick here. Usually takes just a couple of seconds now. It's basically saving all the changes that I made and preparing it to play. Okay, you hear that music, right? So let's say I want something a little different. I'm gonna click that music tab and I get these moods and these genres to choose from. So I want something a little more uplifting, let's say. And you'll notice these ones down here with the little stars, those are the paid version, but each genre and each mood gives you a couple of different options for free. So I just hovered over that and it'll play the sample for me. If I decide I like it, I'm just gonna click apply. Okay, and now you see it has Good Day Reggae Sun. Good Day Reggae Sun has now been added to my video. But you'll notice that music clip is 3 minutes and 40 seconds long, and my video is only like 30 seconds long. So I'm just gonna trim that. I'm gonna grab that end, drag it all the way down here to let's say I'm just demonstrating another tool here. Let's say I only like the first 20 seconds of that song. I'm going to click over here to loop so that it'll play that same 20-second loop each time over and over until the video's done. Okay, I won't play the whole thing for you again, but that is how you can change up the music using some stock music that's in Animoto. If I go back, that's under the Explore tab. You can also upload your own music. So maybe you recorded a drum session, or maybe you have some chants that you want to put behind your video. You can upload that here and put that on and make that the sound for your video. It's another way to customize that video. All right. So now we've customized everything. We've made some adjustments to our timing of our blocks. We've added some video to it. Now we're ready to share it out. So up here at the top, you're going to click Export. And it's going to render again, right? It's saving all those changes and everything that I made. But you'll see right above that, I've got these 3 main options for sharing. I can download. I can download it, save it to my computer, and then put it into a PowerPoint like I did today when I played it. I can get a link and I can share, or, excuse me, I can click share and I can share immediately to any of these social media sites or email, or get that code for my website. I can also click link, copy link to get a link to this. All right, and then that'll take you to this little panel right here. It's going to ask you for a little description here. We're going to say example video. I'll just, oh, there, it recognized me. Okay, so made by Tracy George. And now I can copy this link right here, and I can drop that into an email, or post it on a website, excuse me, on a Facebook page, embed it into a document that I'm emailing. Okay, that is Animoto in a nutshell. Super cool tool. I think I've had a lot of fun getting to know it. Any questions about Animoto? I see Carmelita wrote a note here. Tribe Called Red for background music. Yes, I like that. I like that suggestion. Very good. Any thoughts about how you might use a tool such as Animoto in your program? Okay, maybe I've overloaded everybody with lots of options here, but I'm going to show you now in the time that we have left today. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. I'm sorry. Let me back up. Still focused on the sharing though. We've shared some different tools, dropped a few ideas about how you can use these how you might use these in your program, and I've seen some sharing in the chat box here about how you could use it. I see Patricia writes maybe a little 15 to 30-second video about putting messages on social media. That's a great idea. Maybe you're maybe little reminders or suggestions about, deadlines or things that are coming up. Any other ideas? I know, like I said, some of you are using these tools already. I think folks can take themselves off mute, or maybe we can allow folks to take themselves off mute if they want to share a couple examples of how they're using these tools. Can you burn this to a DVD? That's a good question, and I don't see why not. I'd have to think about if there's any technical reasons about playing that, but most of these are downloaded as MP3 or MP4 files, so I think that sounds possible. It sounds like something you could do. Okay. Well, I promised that I was going to share with you a tool for sharing, something that we are using in other aspects of our technical assistance for grantees. I want to highlight for you a tool called Padlet. Now, maybe use your reaction buttons for me. Either find that participants panel, that button where you can see that list of everybody, and you can give me a yes vote or a no vote. Have you used, or are you using Padlet? Are you familiar with Padlet? So if you open up that participants panel with that little participant button at the bottom of your screen, and then you'll see the list of everybody, and then down at the bottom of that panel you'll see some options to either click yes or no. Oh, I see what somebody says, nope, they haven't used Padlet. That's totally cool. I'm going to show you how to use it now. A couple people this is new for. Okay, all right, great. All right, so Padlet is one of my favorite online tools to use. If you can imagine us being all together in a room and we were collaborating on something and using chart paper and Post-it notes to share ideas, it gives us a similar type of visual, but it's online and it operates a little bit like a discussion board. So let me set aside the screen here. I'm going to show you how you can make a post, post one of your little Post-it notes on Padlet, and how you can share an idea by typing some information in there. And I know somebody earlier in the chat box said they might actually have some videos that they've created to share. I'll show you how you can put those into our Padlet as well. Okay, let's go back here now. Okay, so we're going to share the link to this Padlet. This is a Padlet for you. This is not in the public domain, but rather just as if you have the link, you will have access to this. So you can come and visit this anytime, day or night. It will continue to be open even after today's session. And when you log in here, this is what you'll see. So this is our OIE distance learning Padlet. We have been using this for some of the other strands of technical assistance. So maybe some of you have used that in those settings. But we have different categories. So right across the top here, we have some specific categories where we're inviting you to give your input and share your ideas. So right on this first one, you have the general distance learning column or topic, right? And so we've already pre-populated this with a couple of questions. We'd love to know what questions do you have about distance learning and what challenges have you've encountered. If I scroll down here a little bit, maybe you'd like to see certain topics featured or certain tools featured for this distance learning series. Let us know. You can do that a couple of different ways. So you see here, I've actually put in a comment. Now, the way you do that is you just click right here where it says comment if you're responding to this question or this Post-it note, let's say, and I want to respond to that question. I'm just going to click here and I'm going to type my comment, all right, like I did right above there. And some of the features right here that might look kind of familiar to you, it maybe you're reading some comments from others and you're like, yeah, I like that comment. You can give it a little love and click that red heart button right there. As you go across the top now, you see these different topics that we've been covering in our distance learning series. Now, I invite you to scroll all the way over here, and I'm just scrolling, taking my scroll bar and scrolling all the way to the far right, where we actually have the audio and video recording topic. This is what we're talking about today. So I'd love for you to share what other tools you're using. Okay, you can add your comment right there. If you've done some cool things with your audio video recorders, we'd love for you to share that here. Maybe you'll inspire one of your fellow peers and fellow grantees. You can type the comment, but if you want to do more than just type text, click one of these little buttons, these little plus buttons right down here, and that's going to give you a new Post-it note. All right. So now I've clicked that button and now I get a new Post-it note. I'm going to give it a title, just something, and I'm going to write my text. Okay. And so I'm going to say, here's an example of something I'd like to share. Now, here's a few different ways I can do that. If I have a link, maybe I want to share my link to my Animoto video, right? Remember I got that link from over here. I can add that link. Let's see if it's still in my clipboard. Sure enough. Okay, and now it's going to upload that link, and anybody that comes to this Padlet will be able to access that. There we go. There it appears. I'm going to use another example. I can also, if you have other, let's see, you can upload files from your computer if you want to share them. These two options, these actually allowed you to record film and voice right here in Padlet. We're not asking that you do that unless you really want to, if you want to share a voice message or something. But you can also share, photos. I'm not going to take a picture right now, but you can, but I think you get the idea. You can write a little message, or you can actually share some links to show us and tell us what you've been up to. All right. Okay. So we're going to take it on home here. We have a poll at the end, our standard poll. This is really quick. We're going to put it up on the screen, and it's just 2 questions. This is a confidential poll. We won't actually display the results of this, but we just want to know, was this webinar beneficial for you in your program? And do you plan to share any of the information from today's session? So go ahead and type your response. We want you to be perfectly candid about the usefulness of this session. Your feedback will help us to make these relevant and focused on things that you want to learn about. Okay. Let's see, we've got about 9, 10 of us, it looks like. And I'm not sure my panel's hidden now to see how many folks we have. About 18 folks. So a few more of you, maybe we can get you to respond to that poll. I'm going to go ahead and leave that up so you can respond to that poll. And in the meantime, I'm going to also put into the chat box, or I think one of my colleagues will put into the chat box. We have a brief survey. I promise it's super, super fast. You can do it right now when you get the link in the chat box, while I finish up by telling us, by sharing some dates on the screen about what's upcoming. So thank you. It looks like we got a good number of responses to the in-session poll. We can probably close that out now, and feel free to open up that survey link. And while you do that, I am going to share some dates for upcoming sessions. This distance learning series will continue. every other Tuesday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll see some upcoming topics that we have here. Alani is going to lead us in a session about virtual assessment here on the 23rd. In April, we'll talk about some small group engagement and some virtual field trips. In May, we're going to highlight some games and some options for gamifying your online interaction. All of this is really focused on student engagement, but we'll really dive into that on the 18th. And then we've got an idea for a share fair in June, so we can really highlight all of the really great things that are happening across our programs. Talking circles for the rest of this month now, those are program specific, so please consider joining one of those sessions on the appropriate date. Office hours, this is a really informal time where you can just drop in and out as you see fit to ask questions and get answers and talk to some of us. We definitely welcome you to drop in there on the 25th. And of course, now we have the project directors meeting coming up in April. You may want to touch base with your project director about that. We're allowing a small number of attendees per program. That'll be from the 20th to the 22nd of April from 1 p.m. Eastern to 6:15 each day. We've got a lot of great breakout sessions planned for you. So we hope you'll be able to attend that. And then we have, our annual performance reporting webinars. We have one of those left here for the STEP program at the end of the month. Very good. And then our final slide here now, if here is your contact information for your specific grantee. If you need to get a hold of us at the technical assistance team, we've got that that email over here, as well as everybody at the Department of Ed in case you need to reach out to them. And I just want to highlight this right here too. When you are emailing, to please include your grantee name, which might be different from the actual entity that you work for, but the grantee name and that PR number will really help us, help the Department of Ed track your inquiries and make sure you get timely answers. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. I hope this was a good use of your time. We're just about 2 minutes before the end of the hour, so we'll be on for a couple minutes if you have any questions or comments or things you want to share about. Really enjoyed seeing you here today.